It's unbelievable hypocrisy. You have the European Union, like just like you said, funding this, and turning and endorsing this genocide and being complicit in it. Yet they want to make sure you use the right words when you talk about it, or you're going to get thrown in jail. And all this stuff about hate speech, but the European Union is the ones that are funding the literal Nazis in Ukraine. That's the ultimate irony. So now we've seen that in the UK, for sure, they're arresting pro-Palestinian protesters, right? And just for basically thought crimes, right? So if they endorse the Palestinian organization, which they have deemed terrorists, you can be arrested just for saying you support them. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to give any money. All you have to do is have a thought that you support them. And of course, we know they're locking people up for social media posts in the UK. It's really gotten out of control. They've arrested, or they didn't arrest, but George Galloway was detained at the airport, former member of parliament. So big news, though, is that the European Union had threatened Ireland to pass even more restrictive hate speech laws, which would land a lot of people in jail. So spoiler alert, it didn't pass. The Irish government has informed the European Union that they will not comply with a demand to force hate speech laws on the public. It's hugely significant moment for free speech. And I just want to let everybody know, of course, this is being backed by George Soros-funded NGOs demand crackdown on free speech as politicians spread hate misinformation. And here it is. Ireland was given 2 months to begin implementing hate speech laws or face legal action from the EU, and that's from May of 2025. And real quick, it says, under existing European Union rules on combating racism and xenophobia. So it's always about, it seems virtuous. It always seems, well, you'd want to, nobody likes xenophobia. No one likes racism. The European Commission believes Ireland is allegedly failing to comply with laws first agreed to in 2008 surrounding the criminalization of race-based violence and hatred. Well, violence is already illegal. So the fact, it's kind of silly to me. It's like, oh, that guy who killed your brother, did he hate him? No, he didn't hate him. Well, I guess it wasn't so bad. It doesn't matter. That to me, that's just, hate speech is free speech. The state has also been told that it must implement legislation against the denial, condoning of, and gross trivialization of international crimes and the Holocaust, which is all completely subjective. Mm-hmm. Whatever the government says it is. You're trivializing. The commission has threatened legal action if necessary measures are not implemented. The government has repeatedly pointed to existing legislation that criminalizes the incitement of hatred and hate speech under the Prohibition of Incitement to Hatred Act from 1989. So, and just let's remember, you're a comedian, I'm a comedian. A comedy writer's arrest supercharged. That's an Irish comedian, right? Writer's arrest supercharges a transatlantic debate about free speech in Britain. So what is your reaction to all this?
Well, my quick reaction to Graham Linehan there is that he called me a scumbag on Twitter a couple of days ago. So I would say we're not the greatest of buddies. One of the positive things about, if you could say a positive thing about Gaza, is that it has blown everything up into the air. Like all the masks are off, and all the hypocrisy is on show. So for the EU, I think the EU are experts at trying to get people to use the right terms and the right conditions around speech, for instance. That would be very important to them. Whilst in terms of actions, they gladly back and proudly back over the last 2 years the genocide of Palestinians. So it's almost like the EU would prefer you to call Palestinians by the correct terms. Once you're calling the correct terms, they don't mind if you're mass murdering them. And I think people see through all that bullshit now at this point. Like the right labels or whatnot they're just a smokescreen, really. They're just a smokescreen to try and get people to, I suppose, conform to a certain way of thinking or a certain way of behaving in the world, whilst behind the scenes, the EU do their dirty business in the dark, which is to continue funding and aiding and abetting the mass extermination and mass starvation of brown people all over the world. You know what I mean? So
Yes, I know
I'm sick of it, to be honest.
I know exactly what you mean. It's unbelievable hypocrisy. You have the European Union, like just like you said, funding this, and turning and endorsing this genocide and being complicit in it. Yet they want to make sure you use the right words when you talk about it, or you're going to get thrown in jail. And all this stuff about hate speech, but the European Union is the ones that are funding the literal Nazis in Ukraine. That's the ultimate irony, is that they'll put you in jail or arrest you for an anti-Semitic post. At the same time, they're funding legit Nazis, the Azov battalion inside of Ukraine. That irony is just, it's off the charts. It broke the scale.
But I don't think anybody's buying it anymore. Like for instance, in Ireland, the EU's credibility is just completely over. Like the last moment that we felt in any way tethered to the EU in a positive way was at the time of Brexit, where it was kind of like, are we moving towards the British mentality of, empire nostalgia and moving away from the scrutiny and the rule of Brussels? Or are we sticking with the EU for more economic reasons and whatnot? That was the last time and that's mostly because Ireland still has such antipathy towards Britain, and it's passed with Britain. But now in the cold light of day, I'm not saying I would have voted for Brexit or that it's a good idea or whatnot, but I just don't see what Ireland gets at times from being tethered to this thing that we no longer respect and no longer has any credibility on the world stage. I think von der Leyen's passionate kind of insistence and standing by Israel's side as the rest of the world has seen what Israel is actually all about and what it stands for, I think has disgraced Europe and done irreparable damage to the idea of this European community, or of the standards or of morality. I think are done forever. And I'm really glad about that, to be honest.
Well said, Tadhg. I was disappointed when we were in Ireland. We didn't get to see you.
I know, same.
It was
next time, bro.
I could have got you to go along with my my anti-Israel chants at the end of my show. Those were fun. People enjoy that. But I'm sorry. Maybe next time. Next time, I'd love to see you. I love Ireland. I love the people I had a great time in Belfast and Dublin. It was really fantastic. I was surprised how much I liked it, actually. But we'll see you next time. Everybody, check out his book, A Portrait of the Piss Artist as a Young Man, Tadhg Hickey. Tadhg,
thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for everything you're doing. Thanks for sticking your chin out. And most of all, thanks for those comedy sketches. I love your comedy sketches. They're hilarious.
All the love, brother. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Okay, Tadhg. October 19th, we'll be in Irvine, California. Then we'll be in Australia. Then we'll be in Burbank, California the day after Thanksgiving. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.